Welcome back. We're now going to dive into each of the workflows. This lesson covers the first workflow of 5 that will get BMM exact up and running within PPC Samurai. This workflow farms the search queries that are being triggered by the BMM keywords, applies a number of conditions, and, should a query be successful, adds it as an exact term at the exact ad group level. This workflow also removes any negatives that may exist that would block this new exact keyword. Most of the workflows will run automatically, but this one does need manual intervention, as it is best practice that the new keywords are screened by a manager before adding it as a new exact keyword. So, let's get stuck in with the first one. In this and all the workflow lessons, we will recap what the process that specific workflow will action, and then we'll walk through each workflow to explain how it works and how to update it if you have your own naming conventions. So let's get stuck in. Let's quickly review what we're trying to do with this workflow. Let's say that we were selling computer monitors online. We might have a BMM ad group with a keyword like computer monitor, with which we can start farming search queries such as this one, heart rate monitor. Now, of course, we don't want to spend our time physically reviewing every search query that triggers in BMM, so we create an automation that sends us a list of queries to approve or deny once they have had over 20 impressions in the last 30 days. For this one, we don't think it's relevant, so we'll add it to the BMM ad group as an exact negative. Next time somebody types in this query, they won't see our ads because of this negative. Now we have another pop-up for review, computer monitor. This one certainly is relevant, so we're going to add it to the exact ad group as a live exact match keyword. So let's take a look at the workflow. As you can see, this workflow has 4 conditions, a couple that would be used on most of the other workflows, and 2 actions. So let's walk through it so you understand what it's doing. The first condition checks the parent keyword is active, and if it is, the search query passes successfully to the second condition. You can update the selection criteria here, but this condition is pretty straightforward, so you shouldn't need to. The second condition checks to see if the keyword is in a campaign that we've applied the BMM exact campaign structure to. It does this by using the naming conventions we set out in the previous lesson. This workflow hasn't been adjusted from the templated naming conventions, but you can update this on each condition by clicking the pencil icon and updating it here. The third condition is similar to the previous, in that it uses the naming convention to check if the search query has been triggered within a BMM ad group. Again, you can update this naming convention if required. The final condition checks to see if the search query has had 20 or more impressions in the last 30 days. We find this a good number to show value in the search query, but depending on your campaigns, you might want to adjust this number. You can do this in the settings here. The reason we have set 20 impressions in 30 days as the default is because we are trying to limit the possibility that this new keyword we're about to add to the account will end up being flagged as low volume. In our experience, this level of traffic generally avoids that issue. Should the search query fail any of the conditions, it is passed to the ignore search query action, which, funnily enough, ignores it. It's worth noting that this action doesn't blacklist or in any way prevent this search query from being processed again by this or any other workflow. When a search query does successfully pass through all 4 conditions, it hits the add as a keyword action. Let's explore the options available to you as part of actioning this step. In the setting of this action, you can see how it does this in more detail. The instructions here are telling PPC Samurai to add the search query as an exact match keyword in the exact ad group that was already created using our naming conventions. We do this by defining the parent ad group that triggered the search query as contains BMM, and the destination for this new keyword as the companion ad group that contains exact. We then select only exact in the match types. You are able to update the keyword bid for this new exact keyword automatically. For the global templates, we have set all of these to a multiplier of 1 to retain the bidding as is, but you can update this as per your preference. This setting doesn't add any labels as a default. The two settings we do activate within the template are Process Search Query even if blocked at target. This automatically removes any negatives that would block this new exact keyword, and Process Search Query even if it exists elsewhere. This is to ensure all the potential keywords that have successfully passed the conditions are surfaced to review. Finally, we do not want this action to run automatically, as we will want to review the new keywords to check we actually want to add them as new exact keywords in the exact ad group. This output will display as a workflow insight on the Insights dashboard, and we'll take you through how to action these in a later session. And there you go, one workflow down. Next up, we'll be looking at step 2, which pushes the exact traffic to the exact ad group.